Hello family, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Grab a seat and a popcorn because you are in for a ride. You're going to be learning how to make a perfect bustier in this tutorial, and we're going to be learning how to make this full gown. So in this tutorial we're going to be learning just drafting. In the next one you'll be learning how to cut and sew. So let us get started. Now, I already drafted out the basic bodies. If you don't know how to draft your basic bodies by now, I've already made several videos on how to draft the basic bodies. But because I don't want this tutorial to be too long, so I've gone ahead to draft out my basic bodies. You get half of your measurement, you put it on your pattern paper, then you further divide it into two. You use one part for your back and one part for your front. So I already, I'm just trying to emphasize my vertical lines that I already drew. You can see the chest line, the shoulder slope, our bust points, as you can see as I labeled. So you can see all the vertical lines. See our under bust line and our waist line. So we know that part is the front. Then this other back is for the back, the waistline and the chest line. That is all we need. So without further ado, let's get into it proper. So I've already drafted out the basic vertical lines. Okay, so now let's move over. So you're going to put the half of your shoulder measurement on the chest line. As you know that we'll be drafting, we were drafting both the back and front simultaneously. So after putting that, now we are going to be coming in by ½ inch on the waistline. That's because I'm going to be using a zipper, not a corset loop. So that is why I'm going in by ½ inch, so that your zipper is going to lie down properly on your back. Okay, so it's very important that you do that. Now, as we know that the waist measurement for the front and the back is different, okay, so we are going to be putting our bust dart on the front part so that we can close it with the difference. But before that, we need to draft out everything before we can hold our bust dart. So I am marking my bust span, the half of my bust span. My bust span is 7 inches, so half of it is 3.5. So I marked it on the waistline and I marked it on the bust point. So I am connecting the lines together like so. That is where we are going to be putting our dart measurement. So it's very simple, just follow what I'm doing. If you follow this, you're going to come out with a perfect bustier. Okay, so now you determine your dart intake. So from like size 14 upward, you can use like, even from size 12 you can use like 1.5 inches for your dart intake. So that means you'll be holding 0.75 on both sides to get your 1.5 inches. Okay, and if you are more bustier, you can use up to 1 inch for your dart intake, so that it's going to be curvy. Just watch what I'm going. At the end, you're going to see how beautiful this is going to turn out. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for the back. You put half of your bust span measurement and then you connect together. So it's as simple as that. If this is your first time joining our family, make sure you subscribe, okay, and make sure you drop your comments. Tell me where you are watching from. So I'm going to put the same measurement for our dart opening. I'm going to be putting it there and I'll just connect it straight to my chest line. You can decide where you want your dart to stop. This is totally up to you, but just follow what I am doing so that we can be on the same page. So I am labeling my pattern. As I always emphasize, make sure you label as much as possible. So now the next thing is to put the cutter of my waistline on my waistline, the cutter of my waist circumference on my waistline, plus the dart intake, which is 1.5. So we need to put our dart allowance, and that was exactly what I did. We are going to move over and do the same thing on our chest line. We'll be putting quarter of our bust circumference on the chest line, and after that you're going to be connecting everything together like so. Okay, so if you've not registered for any of our fashion courses in our fashion academy, make sure you do that. And there is going to be, I'll be organizing a free 4 weeks beginners class, physical class. So if you're interested, drop it in the comment section. It's free and it's for 4 weeks. So if you don't know anything about drafting, or if your beginner foundation is shaky, make sure you register for this free physical 4 weeks class. Very free, but terms and conditions apply. So on our armhole line, I'm going to be dividing it into 2 for the back, and I'm going to go in by 0.5. So I'm going to connect it to my shoulder slope, as you can see, and then I'll be drafting the armhole line to touch the chest line. So after doing that, we are done with our armhole for the back. Okay, so now I'm just going to be drafting just a little neckline tentatively, because I'm still going to change the neckline. This is totally optional. You can determine the type of neckline you actually desire. So but I'm just doing this. I'm still going to change the neckline. That is not the neckline I'm going to be using. So for the front, I'm going to be coming up by 3 inches, then I'm going in by 0.5 inches. So I'll be connecting the line to the shoulder slope, just like as we did for the back. Now I'm going to be putting quarter of my bust circumference on the chest line, so that we know where we are going to be stopping our armhole draft. So I'm just going to connect it to the chest line, and I'm going to smoothen it up, so you can see that our pattern is coming together and coming alive. So you can see so far it is very easy and very simple. So I make sure I make all of my tutorial very simple, okay, so that it is very easy to follow. Even if you're a beginner, you'll be able to follow what I am doing, and you'll be able to replicate it. If you're going to be replicating this type, put it in the comment section. Now I'm going to be putting the same quarter measurement on the waistline plus my dart intake, which is 1.5, even though I'm yet to draw the draft it. So we just need to put everything together so that we can hold our bust dart. Remember that the front waistline is different from the back waistline. So the difference between the front waistline for this person is 2 inches. So you're going to be marking 2 inches down from the bust point. If it is 1 inch, it's the same method. If it is ½ inch, it's the same method. So when we close the bust darts, you see that the side of the front and the back are going to match. If you don't do that, you see that the front is going to be longer than the back. Now I'm just doing just a little draft, a little dart. So I just came in by 0.25. By so doing, when you close the bust dart, it's going to be properly aligned. One part is not going to be longer than the other. So now let us move to the main cocoa of the day. So I'm just trying to connect the darts in the front together to my bust point. Now you need to determine where your cleavage is going to start from. This is totally up to you. If you want a little bit of cleavage to show, if you don't want, it is totally up to you. But for me, I'm coming down by 7 inches, as you can see. So that is where the cleavage is going. That starting point of the cleavage, that is where it is going to be starting from. I don't want cleavage, the bust, to be showing. So 7 inches is perfect for this body size. So you can come as low as you want, go as low as you want. It is totally optional. So you divide your shoulder into 2, just like you see me do, and you connect it to your bust point, as you can see. So you divide your shoulder into 2 and then you connect. So I'm just using a broken line for this line. Okay, so now we need to prevent gaping on our chest line. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing, a little bit of tightening. Okay, so I tightened it by 0.5 inch on both sides. You can still use 0.75. It's totally depending on how busty you are. Okay, so I use 0.5. So, and I connected with my curve to my bust line, as you can see. So it's very simple. You can, if you're unable to get it with your curve, you can use your hand to do this. So in just simple steps, we are going to be done very soon. So I just want to close the dart so that when one part is not going to be longer than the other after we cut it out, and it is perfectly okay, it's still going to come out nice. Okay, so the where we're going to be joining is going to align properly if we do it this way. Okay, so now the next thing is to tighten our under bust. So you get the quarter of your under bust circumference, and you now measure the under bust circumference that is on your pattern paper. So after getting that, you subtract your under bust circumference from the under bust measurement you are getting on the pattern paper. So for mine, I'm getting 1.5 inches. So I'm marking half inch on the center front, and I'm going to be marking 1 inch. So it's better for you to have higher part on the side front. Okay, so as you can see, 1.5. So I'm putting half inch, the one facing center front, and I'm using 1 inch, which is the larger part, for the one facing side front. So it's going to come out better and finer. Okay, or you can decide to do it into half, but it's going to come out better if you do it this way. So now the next thing is to connect it to our waistline, just like you see me do, and we are practically done with our bustier. You can see how easy this is. If you want me to do a tutorial on how to cut a bustier with free hand, like no pattern at all, we're going to be drafting directly on the fabric, let me know in the comment section, so that you won't be, if you don't want to be drafting every time, you just want to, just go ahead and just cut it directly on your fabric, you can do that as well. So let me know in the comment section. So I'm going to work towards that tutorial if you want. So I am marking 7 inches from my shoulder line because I want the net for the front and the back to be on the same length. Okay, I'm going to be using a lace for the upper part, so I want it to be aligned. So that is why I'm using the same measurements that I use for the front at the back. Now I'm going to be using this V neckline for the back, so I just drafted it straight down to where our net is going to stop. This is looking all good and all cute. Yeah, so you can see that it's very simple. You can change the neckline if you want. Okay, so now I'm just trying to fine-tune all of this coverage. It shouldn't be too curvy and it shouldn't be too straight. Okay, now I'm going to be doing a back waistline. So I came down by 5 inches. 5 inches is actually okay, but I'm not going to be using boning. Okay, so if I'm going to be using boning, I might just go for 4 inches. Okay, 3 to 4 inches, so that when you sit down, you're going to be comfortable. So the longer your boning is, the more uncomfortable you're going to be when you sit. So that is another tip that you should note. So it shouldn't be too long, or else that is why when you see people, they won't be able to sit down in the car. You have to lie down because the boning is too long. You understand? So you need to make sure. So there is no tightening of corset that I want to do or bustier. I'm still going to be comfortable. Okay, so these are tips and tricks that make my clients comfortable. So you have to be comfortable in your dress. You have to be able to, so this corset, I'm still able to sit, I'm still able to move around comfortably. Okay, so now you just after getting the 5 inches, you just connect it straight to your waistline, and then you connect the dart down so that everything is going to be properly aligned. Now I am just labeling my pieces. Now the next thing is to cut. So just watch what I am doing, watch the way I am cutting, so that you're going to cut exactly that same way, and your pattern is going to come out nice. and better. Okay, so let's watch. And like I said earlier, I am organizing 4 weeks free physical class, beginners class. 4 weeks, it is free. The tuition is free. Okay, so but terms and conditions apply. So if you're interested, if you don't know anything about sewing, this is a perfect opportunity for you. So we're going 4 weeks free beginners intensive class. So at the end of the training, you are going to be able to make, even if you've never made any fabric or any outfit, after this training you're going to be able to make your basic outfit. So it is a beginners class and is hands-on, practical, and it is intensive. Okay, so if you're interested, let me know. It is starting ending of this month, so we have just few days left. Okay, so let me know. And we have limited slots, so ending of this month, that is when it's going to start, and it's going to run all through July. Okay, for 4 weeks. It is free. The tuition is free. You're not paying tuition fee. Okay, but terms and condition apply. So if you are interested, let me know, so that you're going to be informed on the whole full detail and gist of it. Okay, and we have other courses as well. We have 6 weeks beginners class, we have beginners to advanced class 6 months, we have intermediate to advanced class physical class. Okay, that is 4 months. We also have weekend classes for those that are busy. Okay, for those that are busy during the weekdays. So that shouldn't stop your fashion dream. Okay, so we have all option available for you, so there is no excuse for you at all not to pursue this your fashion dream. So join us at our fashion academy. The next batch is starting in September, so make sure you register on time so that you can be granted a slot. Okay, so in this tutorial we're just going to be working only on the drafting. In the next tutorial you're going to be seeing the cutting and the sewing. So make sure you label as much as possible. Okay, and if you want me to do an online class on beginners class and also on how to make a perfect princess dart, okay, online course, so let me know as well. Okay, so that is that. We are practically done. This is the fabric we are going to be using. So see you in the next part. Bye.